right, let's see what happens now. See who comes up first. And Twitch looks like, all right, Twitch is coming online. Nice. Good, good. All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. There's no idea. Hey, Cotter. I just saw your comment, Cotter, about the energy drinks. What a champion. What a champion. Hey, no idea. How's it going today, my friend? Hey, Darren. Nice to see you. All right. Great gosh. All right, you're over there on Twitch. That's beautiful. Thank you for jumping in and letting me know everything's working over there. Perfect, perfect. This is going to be a fun night. I'm looking forward to tonight. It's good times. Good times. We're going to have a fun sesh tonight. We'll give everybody a couple of minutes to jump in, and we're going to have some fun tonight. Oh, Cotter. I can't believe, man, you have some true staying power. Like, you just stick with it. It's super impressive. No joke. Hey, Gabrielle. I'm glad you like the channel, buddy. Freaking bake. All right. JP. Nice to see you, my friend. You know what, JP? Before we even get going, I'll show you. I was thinking like something like this is kind of what you were thinking about, right? So we'll go in. You know what? Let me just do this real quick before we actually start. I'll just... So it kind of looked like that, right? That kind of an idea. Nice little mouthpiece with restricted airflow. Roscoe time, Raj. All right. Hey, Gordon. Nice to see you, my friend. Hey, Chris. PBS 420. Oh, a half-hour walk to a vending machine. I'm going to guess that was for the energy drinks, Cotter. Unreal. Unreal. I love it. Absolutely love it. Phil Sober. All right. Baked Daddy. Carl, nice to see you, buddy. Typer Guy. Dims 3. Thank you. Yeah, this was one that my wife did up for me. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You know what? Let's just have a Roscoe, shall we? While everybody kind of jumps in, let's just have one. Gotcha. Okay. Hey, Kim, nice to see you. Wesley, Catfish. All right. Everybody's jumping in. Love it. Breadsticks. Oh, another trooper up in the middle of the night in Australia. All right, I got you, JP. Cool, that's good. Thank you. That was it. That was the easiest way to do it, right? Right. Enjoying your holiday still. That's awesome, Cotter. Big Dave. What's up? I'm watching your videos lately. Sweet. Gumby Gets Weird. I love your comment on Twitch. I'm so happy you found ball vapes and, making the jump from combustion. Even, a lot of people when they're making the jump try and go all in, and that has to be it, or it feels like a fail. I thought about this when I was making the transition, and there was a period of time where I was going back and forth combusting and vaping. But I realized at a point I was combusting a lot less. So the second I introduced vaping, I was winning, so I didn't have to put pressure on myself. That was what I realized. All right, let's rip one. It's time. It's definitely time. All right. Let's rip the first one, and then we'll just jump right in, shall we? I'm using a microdose bowl tonight. I'm going to get probably about 0.12 of a gram in here. And I'm using a diffuser ball vape, and I'm just going for the big one and done rips tonight. Right, good and fast. Okay. Oh, this reminds me. I thought about something. I wanna put this out there. This one is not actually on the site. But if you're interested in this particular pattern, drop me an email, info@tabletopbong.com. And, you know, we can always look at reproduction or something very similar. Things like that, right? Pretty flexible. All right, cheers. That's a way to kick it off, right? Let's cloud it up. Hey, Monique. Let's cloud it up. All right. Very simply, intention for tonight, my friends. Everybody leaves feeling a little more connected to each other, the plant, and themselves. You know, that was what I said last week for the intention, and I really thought about it, and I thought, you know, there's no cleaner way I could actually say what I mean and what I truly hope for. So, you know, if I repeat it, then it's simply because that's exactly what I hope that everybody walks away with. That would be my very best case scenario, right? Everybody leaves with at least one nugget of information that they didn't have before, something that made them go, oh, okay, cool, that'll help, right? And everybody has a good time too. Hey, Rob, nice to see you, buddy. MWU. I don't know how I would say that. I'm trying to think about how to say that. All right. Dog Bone, nice to see you, buddy. All right, so we got the intention set. Let's talk before we go too far into. Let's talk about what everybody is going to vape tonight. Let's get everybody active in the chat, and yeah, we're gonna have another Roscoe too, JP. Good call. So tonight I have a combination of Maui Wowie, Sour Diesel, and Red Congo. The Maui Wowie is fresh flower. The Sour Diesel and Red Congo are both decarbed. It's a pretty fun combo, three-way combo. Definitely gets me stoned. But I'm hoping this combo will allow me to stay a little more focused maybe than I did last week when we were getting toward the end of the live stream. I was kind of gapping out a bit. So I'm hoping this keeps me a little more focused by the end of the live stream, but you never know, man. You never know. So that, and I've got diffuser ball vape, heated bowl, and we're going to talk about multiple different vaporizers tonight. So I'm going to be hitting a boatload of Roscoe's. So speaking of that, hey, my guy. Who wants to... does somebody want to do... I'm kind of thinking about this. Here's one of my stoner thoughts, friends. I was thinking about this after the live stream last time. I was like, I wonder how many Roscoe's we actually had on the live stream. Like, how many did we actually have? So then I thought about it, and I thought, well, somebody should do the minutes, right? Somebody should actually, just for one live stream even, if you think you're going to be here all the way through the live stream and you're willing to keep a tally of how many Roscoe's we have, put your hand up and let me know. I just want to, hey, Jason, wondering if somebody wants to take that role on, so we can actually see. I don't know, I have no actual idea by the end of a live stream how many we've had. It could be 6, it could be 12, it could, like, I don't have any actual idea. I just know it feels like a whole bunch. But I get the bonus, and I'm gonna say definite bonus. Every time we rip one, Jason, every time we rip a bowl, that's a Roscoe. I did say Roscoe. Let's do it. Let's have a Roscoe so that we can define what a Roscoe is. This is a Roscoe. Every time we do this, every time you see me put something in the bong and rip one like this is a Roscoe. Cheers, my friends. Okay, JP. Roscoe actually messaged me, and I noticed, you see, that he's not here right now. Today and tomorrow, he said he's got some other stuff going on. He's going to maybe try and pop in and say hi, but, you know, pretty busy. Yeah, you've missed where that was 2, Jason. Hey, the wife, nice to see you. Yeah, I'm looking for a Ross a Ross counter. I love it. Love it. Absolutely. This is this ball vape actually. This was one of the very first ones I got. I remember. I don't actually remember exactly who it came from. I tried to figure out who it came from, and I can't narrow. I've narrowed it down to a couple, but I don't know exactly who it came from. When I first started with ball vapes, right? I started the channel. And I, of course, started getting into ball vapes. They were just kind of hitting at the same time as, I was kind of getting things off the ground with the channel. Great gosh. Too funny. And I kind of went on a binge of buying ball vapes. I'm actually a little bit embarrassed about how many I bought in a short period of time. There was really, at that point, absolutely nobody was cooperating with the channel because, it was a small channel, right? I might have had, at this point, maybe 500 subscribers, 700 subscribers, like very small channel. And, I fell in love with ball vapes and I went nuts and I bought a whole bunch of them. And now there's a couple of them. I don't know who they're from exactly. I know I got a couple from Cloud Connoisseur and one or two from AliExpress, and then I got I don't know, 6 or 7 from Karoma Shop. I got a couple from Cannabis Hardware. I got the Freight Train, like all at the same time. It was wild back then, man. It was wild. So yeah, I'm using the Bapvana bowl for sure. That's the Bapvana micro bowl. And it just pairs perfectly with this thing, especially if I drop it in the heater and heat it up. So, works really good. It gives me off of a very, small amount, 0.1, 0.12 of a gram. I can really rip it, as you guys saw, and it's a big rip. And pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. So, I'll show you next time, actually. I'm running at 560 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll show you before I discard the flower how gentle it actually is. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Thanks, Rob, about the bong. Thank you. Swag bag. I saw your, I wanted to go back. Where was it? You had like 20-ish sessions last time. Wow. Right? Like, I literally have no idea how many we actually have. Right? Because, it kind of gets going fast and furious at a point, doesn't it? So, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, heavy eyelids, right? For sure. There's no question about it. When I'm at the end of the live stream, I have to sit and kind of like do the details, right? Like about the live stream and what happened on the live stream and titles and tags and all that stuff so that it gets found in the search. And doing that is not as easy as you might think after as many bowls as we have in a night. Too funny. 28 in a day. Whoa, that's a lot, man. Have I seen the stats added to the Switch 2 app? I was just looking at the Switch 2 app. And they've integrated the Switch Go in the same app as well. And there's a lot of stuff going on. It's pretty cool. I'm going to dig into it even more. I want to get my hands on a Switch Go soon as well. I don't know if anybody out there has one, what you guys are thinking about it. I know I've been asked a fairly good amount about it. Holy squirrels, guys. Okay, squirrels. We're going to do squirrels. Okay, I'm ready for you guys. I'm ready. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pepper in the squirrel facts here. Splooting. Okay, this is a word, guys. Splooting. Okay, on hot days, squirrels lie completely flat with their legs stretched out, a behavior called splooting that helps them cool down. So there you go. There's our first squirrel fact of the night. Squirrels like to, they use splooting as a way to cool down on a hot day. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I'll tell you what, guys, I've even got some squirrel facts for tomorrow, European squirrel facts. Like definitely all European squirrel facts, because turns out European squirrels are different than North American squirrels in certain ways. So we're gonna do that. Oh, too funny. Too funny. Right into it right away, huh? Too funny. Okay. All right. Okay. I want to have a locked pearl bowl before we get going too far. Do I have a locked pearl? I do. I'm going to grab my 2x6 silicon carbide locked pearl and just kind of have a slow down for a second before we go too far into the rest of the stuff. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit about what we're going to look at tonight. I've been paying attention to some of the really cool, I don't want to use that word, user improvements to devices that people have figured out along the way, right? So, you know, if you use it in this particular fashion, you know, you can get a different experience. If you pack it this way, you get a different experience, stuff like that. Let's go ahead and rip this. Cheers. But there have been a few things that people have come up with out there, right? And have shared around in different communities that have just really hit. Like really, really hit and helped all kinds of people, right? So I thought we should celebrate a few of those things and see if there aren't a couple of those things, you know, sitting in our chat right now that maybe are waiting to be discovered, that maybe you've come up with some cool way of using a device that's a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. And, you know, what I'll show you tonight will maybe inspire those things to come forward. And that's kind of what I'm hoping, right? This is more of an open conversation that I show some ideas and then we talk about, you know, what are some other ideas with different devices that you've used, and, you know, we'll share those around, right? So I definitely want to do that. And I've got a few really cool ones to show you, and a brand new one too. That was just inspired by the community actually this week. Yeah, and then we'll have some more squirrel facts, and I have a few more true-false questions for you guys I want to throw out there. I think that's a pretty fun way to do education. I'm going to mix it up soon. You know, it won't be true-false every single week, you know, but I think for the rest of this week, like today and tomorrow, we're going to do some more true-false stuff for anybody who's around tomorrow as well. And, you know, we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if I've got the difficulty bang on with the questions. I think I'm walking the edge where it's going to have some people scratching their head, and, you know, we'll be, you know, getting to a point where people are learning some stuff too, which is super cool. As the person sitting in this seat doing this, the locked pearl, it's such a nice, smooth experience, but it slows the flow down. And that's why, unfortunately, you know, I can't use my own device nearly as much as I want to use my own device while I'm live streaming, simply because it slows the flow. You know, when I'm ripping a ball vape, simple one and done style, there's no real slowdown. Okay, great question, Doc Bone. Little, mid, or big-ass torch on the locked pearl, which is best? It really depends on how you want to extract. Like if you're using the 2x6 like the one I just was, you can use, you know, a single flame like this, and you can turn it down as low as that and get a really nice, very controlled experience. It's going to be a tiny bit slower, you know, or triple flame. This is what I have a tendency to reach for most. It's a nice wide flame. It's right. It's not too long of a flame, but it's wide. So you get a good wash of heat without overpowering it. Or you can use a big ass torch. Like you can use this too without any question. So, you know, if you're looking for the fastest hit and you want to go for more of a one and done style, then I'm going to say grab the big ass torch. If you're looking for the slow totally milking the flavor out of it, I'm going to say, reach for the smaller torch. And, if you're looking for the middle of the road kind of all around, you want to push it. You can push it. You want a flavor sip, then, the triple flame torch, I think, is probably the right way to go, right in the middle, that you can move both ways. I just wanted to remind myself too, or just occurred to me that Age also dropped a comment to me saying that she may not be able to make it tonight either, but sending good vibes. She's gonna try and pop in. That just occurred to me. I wanted to make sure I mention it too. It's important to me when you guys take the time to tell me that stuff, to make sure that I share the good vibes that go with it, right? Okay, so I just lost my train of thought talking about the locked pearl there. All right, so the temp control with the locked pearl, really just backing up. As soon as you see vapor, if you begin to back up right away, and then you can kind of advance to get the exact thickness of vapor you want, you kind of hit that sweet spot most of the time without too much problem at all. The trick is just backing up quick enough, though. Well, I'm super glad that this channel is relaxing. ADH She Does Nails. That's a good handle. I'm glad that you find it relaxing. You know what? I find this community super relaxing too, right? Like, everybody is pretty chill. That's for sure. I have a tornado. I'm just seeing that comment, V Galaxy. Anyone here by a tornado recently? I've seen some people talking about them degrading. What do you mean degrading? I'm not sure what that means. But that's an interesting comment. I definitely use mine a fairly good amount. I'm actually have it in a way that I'm going to show you guys tonight too. Like, it's in the mix all the time for me, and I don't really understand that. Oh, did Roscoe pop in? Oh, Roscoe! Hey, nice to see you, buddy. Roscoe for Roscoe. That's an automatic. That's an absolute automatic. When Roscoe shows up, we're having one for Roscoe. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right. That's awesome. Okay, so I'll show you guys before. Okay, so that's what the flower looks like before I vape it. I'm at 560. I'm like down on top of the flower, right? The namesake himself, right on. Cheers. Still pretty gentle, right? Like, that was a big one and done rip. I know if I hit that again, I'm going to cough like crazy. So I'm not going to, but it's still a very gentle extraction, right? And with a heated bowl, it's hard. Buddy. Too cool. Too cool. All right. You're not wrong, Kim. Roscoe is definitely like. Here's the thing: everybody in this crew is actually definitely very important, and everybody has their own spot and their own vibe that they bring, and we all recognize that vibe now, right? Like, it's like a pretty cool crew. Everybody has their spot. Yeah, it's like. Remember that? I don't know. Yeah, I guess lots of you would remember the TV show Cheers, right? Like, everybody knows your name, right? That was the theme song. That's kind of what it feels like. Slooping. Oh, that's so awesome, Gordon. You know what? I know. I was actually having a conversation with Mrs. TTB about this about an hour before the live stream, like how this affects certain people, right? Myself included, her included, and how we really get into this whole vibe and the energy of it. And it's pretty cool that it affects other people the same way. And trying to explain it to somebody who's not in in the vibe, right? I don't think they can get it. I don't think there's a point of reference. I really don't. Yeah. Hey, Max. Nice to see you. That's a great comment. Max on Twitch just said if you have access to this month's High Times, there's a, and then in brackets long, article about how THC is fading out as a measure of quality. It is pretty cool. Yeah. Interesting, right? It's the way we see the plant. I think what we've done, maybe, maybe, maybe you guys will see it. But when we discover something new or we have access to something new as people, we go crazy with it, right? Like we just go crazy. And then we have to regulate ourselves. We have to calm down. We have to get over that initial burst. And then we have to revisit the thing from the beginning and forget about the way it exploded for a minute to kind of remember what it was in the first place. And I think we're going to see that process happen here. I think some growers have gone way too far with hybridization. And I think that there are some true purists left out there that are, kind of keeping the home candle burning, right? So I think we're going to see some interesting times ahead with all of this stuff. Dad of Liberty, nice to see you, my friend. I'm having such a great night. Jordan Fraser, hello, my friend. I just noticed some people I haven't said hi to yet. I love to be able to say hi to everybody somewhere along the way. Yeah, it's so cool. This is so much fun. Okay, so let's talk about things that have come straight out of the community. So people who've been around a while will remember the old community hack called Pack the Elbow. You guys remember this one? It's with the Extreme Q. Now with the Extreme Q2, people are doing it as well. And this one was, I think, one of the most important user upgrades I had seen at the time when I discovered this. I was using the Extreme Q, and I mean, this is going back a long time ago. And somewhere along the way, I was on YouTube or in a forum somewhere or something, right? Because before I had a channel, I love to research things and learn about things. And somebody had said about Pack the Elbow. And I was using the Extreme Q every single day. It was my daily driver. And I started to pack the elbow, and it changed the way I vaped. Like literally changed everything about the way I was vaping, and it made a more satisfying experience, and it helped me move from combustion almost exclusively into vaporizing then, right? And it was helping me save a pile of money and scarcity at the time, right? And I really, I don't know who dreamt that one up, but like I celebrate that person all the time in my mind, right? These little things that come out of the community, they change the game. Yeah, right? Started with the Extreme Q 11 years ago, right? Okay, Cotter, cool. Yeah, I was on it a long time ago, too. Definitely a long time ago. And you know what? I think the Extreme Q2 is, I'm going to bring it in right now, actually. I'm going to shuffle some things around for a minute here. I think the Extreme Q2 and the Extreme Q were probably some of the best values available in the vaporizer world, honestly. The efficiency of these devices and what you can do with them, right? Like the amount of ways you can use it that aren't necessarily, what's in the instruction booklet, but you're not doing, permanent changes or anything. You're just using it with different workflows, and you get all these different results. So let's talk about pack the elbow for a minute, because I know there are definitely some people who are still loving the Extreme Q2, and it's definitely out there, right? Lots of people are using this every day. So first thing I do when I'm going to pack the elbow is I get rid of the connoisseur bowl altogether. I take it out and I go with a shorter. This is a straight connector. It's an 18 to 18. Oops. And it's not as tall. Okay, so what happens here with it being a little bit shorter is when I pack the elbow and insert the elbow is a little bit closer to the heat source, right? So it just creates a slightly more intense heat. So getting it a tiny bit closer, you know, it was kind of one of the little spins I put on packing the elbow. Then I decided, instead of using the actual elbow, the thing that would be better to pack would be this piece that you use for blowing up balloons. Right? Because this doesn't have the same restriction in it, right? Where you get that real narrowing in the elbow. This doesn't have that. So you put your screen in here, and I'll show you exactly how I do it. So you just pack the screen here. Right, I'm not packing it overly hard, just hard enough to know it's not going to fall out. And then I use a little piece of whip hose. And I'm using a straight connector on this whip hose as well, so there's no real reduction here, right? And it stays nice and wide open for airflow. And then just a little tiny bit of moisture on the whip hose, and then I just insert it right in to the glass piece. So this is 12 millimeter outside diameter whip hose. And then it just stays. And then I can just drop it right in and connect it into my tabletop on. Right, it works perfect like this. So I run it at around 420, packing the elbow like this, a little closer to the heater. And you know, this is a really, really great way to vaporize, right? Like, and it's a nice desktop vaporizer that you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on, and you're not putting a whole lot of dry herb in it, right? So I don't use the fan when I'm doing this. I just draw on it because I've removed all of the choke down points, right? All right, let's have some of this. Cheers. You can get some big draws real fast and easy off of this setup. You know, just doing this little conversion with packing the elbow. Oh, the really hot balloons. Yeah, Jason on Twitch, I see that. Yeah, I love those too. The really hot balloons kind of pushing almost on the edge of combustion. Yeah. How is this versus the Volcano Hybrid? Interesting. The Volcano is a lot more powerful all the way around, right? Like, it just has a lot more powerful fan. It blows up the balloons a lot quicker. Feels definitely, you know, a lot like there's just more to it. But at the end of the day, you know, the Extreme Q2 gets the job done for sure. The Volcano is like the luxury version, right? I mean, if you think about it as far as cars are concerned, this is like your, you know, say Chevy Cruze or something, right? Like something like that where you come in, it's kind of entry level, but it's nice for an entry level for sure and does a great job, and it's an absolute workhorse and a great value. Right, like that's where I think this comes in, whereas I think the Volcano is probably a little more of a luxury mobile, I guess, right? So funny, right? It's wild where when I look at the chat and some of the things that are coming through in the conversations that we have and comments for sure on videos, there are a lot of people in very, very different places in our community, right? Some people are discovering the Extreme Q2 right now. Other people were done with it a decade ago, right? Done with the Extreme Q and moved on. Like, it's just wild how diversified our group is. It's pretty cool. I don't know that I would say, Kim, I don't know that I would say that the volcano is what I would say is a novelty. It's been around for a really long time. And it's, it's really a foundational piece in vaporizing history, right? Like, it truly is a special device. If it's understood for what it is, it definitely still has a valuable place in our market. I don't think I would, put it up against a ball vape and say the volcano's going to hit harder. I've done some modifications to how I use it, and a couple of different things that make the volcano hit very, very similarly to a ball vape. But typically, it's a bit of a different experience. It's a different ride. I'm going to actually talk about it a little more tomorrow. But I think if you think about what it is and you're looking for that style of an experience, I think the Volcano Classic is an amazing value, right? I know the hybrid is nice to have the digital features, but as far as dollars and cents is concerned, I think the Classic is a good value, and I think it's worth having in your collection if you have the budget for it, right? I mean, I don't know if I would say buy it over a ball vape if you're looking for the hardest hitting thing, but I think if you're a collector, I think most people should have one. Yeah. What have I missed? All right, we'll start over for you, buddy. Too funny. Jordan's jumping out. All right, take it easy, Jordan. Yeah, so, I just figured it was going to be fun to talk about the Extreme Q2 Pack the Elbow hack, and show you, my little take on it as well, how I kind of spun off to open up the airflow and, see if I couldn't get a better whip hose experience than if I'm running through the reduced elbow. And it seemed to work out really well. I really enjoy using it in this way, and as you guys could see, really nice vapor coming off of it. Very easy, and not running high temperatures, right? So, I'm not charring the surface of the weed at all. I'm not making it, like espresso or anything like that. So, yeah, it works nicely. All right, that's the Extreme Q. Extreme Q2. Yeah, ball vape over... Definitely, I'm going to say a ball vape over Volcano. If you're going to only own one device and, you're looking for the biggest possible experience, I'm going to say a ball vape for sure over a Volcano. There's no question about that. But the Volcano will give you an experience that you're not really going to get from a ball vape. It's a different kind of a session, right? So they both have, in my opinion, they both have a place, right? It's not the same lane, though. That's the thing. And I think that that's the thing I'm trying to express most. It's not the same lane. They're just two different lanes. So, yeah. But both awesome in their own way. Moving super hot things around on the live stream is nerve-wracking. All right, bring the ball vape back because it's just faster hits, right? And I like that, especially when I'm live streaming. I like to be able to just have one big rip and kind of, get everything I can out of the flower in one go. And we carry on, right? And have another one in a minute. Oh, Ninye. All right. You said Roscoe. Let's do it. All right. Let's have Roscoe. All right, we've talked about one and we've had about 6 Roscoe's. No, I don't know how many. Oh, you know what? Somebody knows. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's do it. Having a Roscoe for Ninier. See, we're losing count already. 6 or 7, yeah. Cheers. See you, Rob, buddy. This thing's awesome for big clouds. Heating the bowl. It really, what a difference it makes. What a difference. And I'm using the micro bowl. I brought out the regular size bowl as well. I'll use that one for the end of the day. Rob Sco. That's right. Love it. That's so cool. So cool. All right, you have a tally on your notepad. Good enough. That's good. Okay, so, all right, what else did I want to talk about here? Okay. Oh, yes. This one. Oh, my goodness. This is straight out of the community. This is such an awesome one. Do you guys know this one? So this is the JC VAP Herb Cloud Crown and the YLL Vape Induction Heater 3.0. Well, turns out you can go ahead and you can heat that. Hang on. I set that at max temperature, 100 watts. So you can use this and an injector bowl together like this. All you need to do is get this portion, which is filled with balls in here. I guess I should explain that for those of you that don't know what it is. This is a little ball vape insert that you use with the JC VAP Pockety with the Herb Cloud chamber. So this inserts into the Herb Cloud chamber, but we can also drop it right inside an injector bowl if we heat it up in another way. Using the Induction Heater 3.0 allows us to heat this insert up from the Pockety Herb Cloud. So all you do is you just heat it up at 100 watts. I'm running it for 30 seconds on the initial heat up. And I'll just show you how easy this thing is to use. This is a really inexpensive way to get into a manual ball vape experience for sure. So I'm just going to run it 30 seconds. We're almost there. And then I'm going to put it in, and I should get one fairly decent draw off this. Cheers. Oh, we could use a little more heat. So I'm going to drop 15 seconds of heat in there. You just got to get it heat soaked in the beginning. I don't want to overheat it. So I'd rather walk it up, try it a couple of times if it's not hot enough, then just add another 10 or 15 seconds. So let's see where we're at now. All right, we're almost there. 15 more seconds. And we're going to be into a really nice experience. You have to, depending on the bowl you're using, the height of the bowl will change how much heat you need to put into this particular unit. Right? The bigger the distance, the more heat you need. But you can also use your draw speed to work with a manual situation like this. The harder you draw, the faster you pull the heat onto it and the hotter it becomes. So a slower draw can kind of help you control it a little bit better. I need to just heat this up really good and not talk. I keep talking through the heat. So I'm just going to drop 20 seconds of heat on it. We'll get it good and hot. I do have flour in there, right? Yep, okay. I have flour in there. I thought I'm dry hitting it. Do that so many times. All right, this should do it. Get a really nice single draw. Once you get it hot enough, you get one really good draw off it, and then 10 to 15 second reheat if you stay on it. JC VAP crown cap, that's right. Thank you. Right? This was such a cool one to see come out of the community like this, just with an injector bowl, right? And this setup using an induction heater that you likely already have. You can also, as you can tell, if you look at the bottom, you can also heat this up with a torch, right? Just pour the heat to it until, well, we should probably do it, right? I'll just show you how easy it is. But basically, all I'm doing is I'm heating it until that bottom ring turns, like, glows actually red. And then I let it calm down a second and drop it in, and that seems to work pretty good. If I have to, I add a tiny bit more heat to it, but... So I was actually, interestingly enough, I was talking to them at JC VAP about this, and they have a new device that's coming out, or it just came out, a dab pen style that they're talking to me about a little bit. And I was talking to them about this particular workflow and the way this is being used by people in the community, and she said, yeah, you know what, we've developed a bowl for it, and you know, it's there on the website. Actually, you can see that it's coming soon, and they've developed a bowl so that you can actually, you know, it's designed to work exactly with it. And lucky me, you know, I think she's going to send me the prototype if I'm lucky, or one of the prototypes anyway, to try it out, and we can talk about it a little bit more. But this is such a really cool, simple approach with this induction heater. If you already have the induction heater, to pick this up, right, you know, and the bowls aren't overly expensive either, so, you know, you can get into this fun little setup pretty inexpensively, especially if you're already got the induction heater, which I think a lot of people do, right? This is a really popular induction heater, and for good reason. It's super versatile, and it does a great job. And as you can see with stuff like this, right, it proves that it's a very versatile induction heater, and it allows us to open our mind to new ideas because of the versatility. It's super cool. I loved it. Loved seeing this. Yeah, so I thought that was a really cool one. A couple of people in the community have reached out to me about this one and talked to me about it, and I thought, yeah, this is definitely one we need to talk about. Let's do it again, and I'll pay a little closer attention to the actual process versus talking about the process. And you can see how you can actually just have a nice bowl. Like, I'm putting in about probably 0.25 of a gram there. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to actually just have a nice little vape sesh for a minute. All right, Jay Soon. All right. All right, yeah. Too funny, Roscoe. Yeah, it's when you see little gadgets like this, right? It's not an expensive add-on, especially if you've already got like the TableTop locked pearl, or, you know, an injector ball vape if you have a ball vape for a while. but I think a lot of people have this. This is a standard 18 millimeter injector bowl, so the top is 18 millimeter, the bottom is 14 millimeter, but this is an 18 millimeter female joint, which is a typical injector bowl size, right? So, you know, if you have, say, this is, you know, an identical bowl with the Freight Train Pro, things like that. I love it, JP. You are such a big fan of the Halo tip and perforated cap too, eh? I love how much you're into that. That when I landed on that setup myself, I was like, yeah, this is definitely my Dynavap home. It doesn't really matter, honestly, what stem I'm using with that tip and cap. Interestingly, I decided to take the I can't remember if they're 2 or 2.5 millimeter beads, ruby beads, out of this, and replace them with stainless steel beads, thinking, you know, maybe the stainless steel would work a little bit better with the induction heater. Maybe it would be faster. Maybe it would hold the heat longer. Maybe it would be a better experience all the way around. So I switched them out and took twice as long to heat it. So it took a full minute cycle when I was using the stainless steel beads in it. And it did not improve the flavor, and it did not hold the heat any longer. So basically all I did was add a new set of beads to double the amount of time it took me to heat it up. And then otherwise, the entire experience was basically similar. So I thought, well, maybe we'll just leave that alone. I have the ruby beads in this one. And I would definitely recommend the ruby beads personally. You know, especially if you're looking for flavor. Kim, that's so funny. I ate that as a kid too. No joke. Absolutely exactly that. I totally ate that as a kid. What a riot. What a riot. Does it fit in the wand? Well, it does. So let's see what happens. Great question. So, seems to be working. Seems to be heating it. Better get some flour in there. That's a great question. Thank you. I love these kinds of questions. And this is the whole idea, right? The more we talk, the more we learn together. So, somebody who only has the wand now will have this question answered if they're wondering it. I don't really know what to expect here. I expect it will work. I think it might... Number 9 for science. Oh, we're not even an hour in. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to try that and see what happens. Cheers. Oh. Okay, that works. Wow, does that work? Okay, I got a slow draw on that. Whoa. Damn. That surprises me. Wow. I think that just worked better. I think that just definitely worked better. Wow. Okay, that blew me away. That blew me away here. Got to try that again. Okay, let's try it again. Let me reload. This is all in the name of science. I love it. What a riot. What a riot. I love that you guys want to experiment with this stuff too. All right, let's drop it back in. Are we working? I'm going to count flashes. It's 20. All right, so that's basically a full cycle. Let's see what happens. I think that's going to be too hot now based on the last one. Well. Will it fit the ace bowl? No. After you draw on it, you have to heat it back up. For some reason, this seems to heat hotter with the wand. I don't know what the difference is in the way they work, but it feels definitely like the wand. It's going to be my pick for this, actually. It's definitely going to be my pick for this. It seems to work really, really well with it. I'm blown away here. Blown away. Oh, age. All right. Nice to see you. I think, you know what, with these induction heaters, you have to be cautious with what you do with them, right? Like, you can definitely overheat them. You can do all kinds of things to them. You have to be careful. You have to be respectful of the power, right? And if somebody melts one, that's because they left something in there far too long. They got far too hot without without having any idea that it was getting that hot. That's user error, right? You have to, and I think you guys hear me say all the time, I would rather, heat test, add more heat test, add more heat test than overheat, right? Because that's the risk, is like having your induction heater melt or shit like that happen. Oh, no way, that's no good. Yeah, a bunch of people jumping in. We both know what that we both know what that means, JP, right? We're probably gonna have a Roscoe for everybody who just showed up, even though the whole time we're having Roscoe's talking about it. Yeah, it's like this is it is a cool idea for a travel ball vape, or it's a definite budget option if you want to get a good desktop experience and you're really on a tight budget. this is something that is feasible if you're already playing around with Dynavap, right? Like, if you already have an induction heater now, it turns out it doesn't even matter which one. Either one of these two seems to work pretty fine with it, that's for sure. I feel like the wand, I feel like when I heated it with the wand there, I just got a little bit better flavor off of it. The results actually just shocked me there. I'm going to have to do some deeper testing. And now that I see the way that housing reacts with the wand, I'm going to switch up the beads and put the stainless steel beads in and see if that doesn't just completely create a whole mad power machine of heat, right? Like, that's what happens with these things. Somebody gets an idea, tries this, puts it into the community, and everybody kind of starts to crowd share the idea and work with it. And, you know, now we're getting to the point where we're looking at the wand and stainless steel beads, and, you know, this is going to evolve and have spin-offs all over the place because it's a super cool, simple idea. I love these kinds of things. I think, you know, that's why I wanted to celebrate these things. And the fact that these things come up in the community all the time, right? And they change the game. This kind of stuff changes the game as much as when a manufacturer comes out with something new, right? Because this is like, you know, the Reese's peanut butter formula, right? You got your chocolate and your peanut butter and you're putting it together. These are two things that weren't supposed to go together. You put them together and now it's going to create a spin-off. It's super cool. I love it. I love when this stuff happens. Advised against a 10 mil. It's the heat, eh? There's a lot of heat. That's why, you know, a 10 millimeter rig may be a little more delicate, say, than a 14 millimeter rig. And there's a fairly good amount of heat to a ball vape, so you must have a well-made rig, right? And that's the thing, these generalized rules like that, like don't use a ball vape with a 10 millimeter rig, that's made for, you know, probably the least quality out there. That's a rule that would match that really well, but something that's well-made, maybe not so much. You're right, you don't need that rule, so... I have no idea sometimes how I'm able to, yeah, man, chocolate and peanut butter in our weed. I have no idea how I'm able to stay on a thought once I get this deep into a session. That's for sure. I think it's just practice now. Practice and desire. I don't really know what else I got to say. I knew what you meant, buddy. Too funny. I know you guys think I have insane tolerance. I don't actually have insane tolerance. I am so heavily affected during these sessions. There's no question about it. Like, yeah, I'm careful not to burn tolerance, right? Because it's one of those things, especially when you engage with as many devices and as many, you know, testing of items and stuff as I do in a day, right? Like, even just, I was making mouthpieces to play around with today, just some different ideas. So, of course, you have a couple of bowls right back to back to test this one and then that one. And, you know, next thing you know, you're 4 bowls into a session and you're testing 2 mouthpieces. And now you have the data you want, but you're in the middle of your day, right? So, but I have to be careful. I use very small doses when I'm doing that so that I don't blow my tolerance out, right? So when I'm in this many bowls, I'm like, what? It's definitely hits me pretty hard. Pretty fun. Yeah, I get absolutely, faded is a great word for that. All right, what else can we talk about with, there was a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's one that I'll talk to you guys about, the way it just kind of evolved. And this comes straight out of the community. So I had somebody message me a few days ago, a week ago, maybe. Yeah, roughly a week ago. With an idea of they took a Dynavap and they found a spring that would fit, perfectly on the cap. This spring goes right on there, and a wire goes across, and it goes on there, and it goes on like a cap armor, right? Like that idea, and it's this spring that you can pick up on Amazon for next to nothing, and it adds more thermal mass. So this person sends me this picture and this idea and says, I'm doing this, it's pretty cool. And I'm like, hey, that's a cool one out of the community right there. That's a cool idea. But what I decided to do was I just decided to put a bit of a twist on it. Instead, I'm not sure exactly what the material was that person was heating. But I want to make sure if I'm going to do something like that I know the material is good. So, I want like pure copper, something like that, right? That we know is okay to heat. So it ended up kind of spinning off a little bit, and I'll show you what ended up happening. I ended up taking that exact idea and kind of morphing it a little bit. So this was my first go at a Dynavap cap with 12 gauge copper. It's pure copper wire, and it's wrapped and formed around the cap, right? Like a cap armor, but made of pure copper. And I went over the top with it here like that. I thought, I would completely encapsulate it and see what happened. And I tried it, and it was okay. But then I did this. I tightened it up. I cleaned everything up. And I kept it off the top. And I wound it tightly. So this is well, here, let me show you the actual. This is what I made it out of right here. 12 gauge, 2 millimeter, 99.96% pure. And it's just copper wire like this. Z06 Dave, I don't currently have the 250 mil size available on the website. If you want to email me at info@tabletopbong.com, we can talk about that. Most people, as far as a general rule of thumb, most people are going to the 500 mil size, and that seems to be the right size for 90% of people. But there are some people that the 250 mil size is a better fit for. And if you're one of those people, I can work something out with you for sure. So email me and we can talk about that a little bit for sure. No problem. Yeah. Okay. And there was another question from asking, if I order your hose for an orb, would it fit the 14 millimeter? Okay. Here's how it works. The hose. Okay. Tabletop Bong has a 18 millimeter joint here. The hose is on a connector that I make, but it's this is 14 millimeter joint here. Sorry, no, this is an 18 millimeter joint, and then the inside where the hose is a 14 millimeter. Okay, so it requires an 18 millimeter joint, but if you want a hose that has more diffusion and you want to hook it up to a 14 millimeter water piece instead of an 18 millimeter water piece, if you place an order for the hose and add a note to it saying 14 millimeter connection, right, and just like put stars just as a reminder for me, what I do is I'll make you a connection that has 3D dimpling, kind of like the mouthpiece in it, but then it has a 14 millimeter connection on the end, right? And it's a straight connection that's open, so it opens up the airflow. So yeah, so if you want a 14 millimeter connection, the point is, now I'm running off the thought. The point is, just add it in the notes and I'll make you a special connection. It's a little bit different than this, but it will end up doing the same thing for you. Open up the airflow and add diffusion. So, yeah, it works pretty good, definitely. Even with the 14 millimeter piece, the way I do it with the straight connectors. I don't have one handy. I wish I did. But it's just a 14 millimeter straight connection, and then I've just put the 3D dimples, the glass dimples in it, just to disrupt the vapor a little bit. It works good. Oh, bummer. Okay, perfect. I see. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, changing the whip hose, it is surprising what a difference it can make to the overall experience. And a lot of people in the tabletop bong community have been, playing around with their stems and doing a little bit of dry ripping. And the surprising thing is how much diffusion happens even without the water. When you're using a whip hose that works in this fashion, right? You have diffusion at one end, and then you have the long path, and then you have diffusion at the other end, and both ends are glass and absorbing heat. It does a good job for sure. For sure you could. Reddit Chronicles, yeah, for sure. I have definitely done that. I have vaped green tea through the tabletop bong for sure. Organic green tea, along with a few other things as well. Right, you just get the temperature right, and I like to run it through water just to kind of calm down, I guess, the vapor until I really get used to it. So anytime I'm gonna vape a new herb, I'll definitely put it through the bong. So green tea for sure. Yeah, that's a cool question. I love it. Love it. Yeah, whip hoses are critical, right? Like they really are. All of the tiny little details that surround the device itself, right? Like if you get a great vaporizer, but then you don't have a compatible water piece, you're sitting too close to the heat all the time with your face. You're not getting to see the entire experience. It really detracts from the overall vaping experience. So when you get a balanced water piece that lets you play around with the stems and you get back from the glass, you get to see the whole thing happen. You're off the heat, all of it, right? The whip hose works in there. Each component gets used for some positive function along the way, not just to look good. Everything has to do something or the part shouldn't be there, right? So, yeah. Yeah, interesting. I love it. Catnip. That's funny, Connor. The extra distance does make a huge difference for sure. Yeah, interesting. Put herbs in the flour sometimes for sure. You can do all kinds of different things, right? Botanical blends. It's pretty cool. Green tea, when you vape green tea, what I noticed with it mostly was it gave me kind of a sense of calm. Like just a little bit of a slowdown. It wasn't like, I wasn't like, whoa, that's a huge difference. I was just like, yeah, that feels smooth, right? I feel smooth right now. My energy feels smooth. Things feel calm. Um, yeah, it didn't feel like there was too much of a kick from the caffeine. Right, when you vaporize certain things, you can feel the caffeine from it. Like I vaporized coffee, half a coffee bean in a Dynavap, and you get it pretty hot, and you get some pretty good vapor off it, and the caffeine's there, and you can feel it. You can feel it. It's an interesting experience if you've never tried that before. Right, the distance makes it more mellow. Right, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, and the distance is awesome, but sometimes I think you want to be up close too, right? I'm playing around with a bunch of different mouthpiece options that I want to put out a whole line of mouthpieces, actually. So, yeah, coffee vape, right? I did it a few times just to make sure I had it right. But yeah, definitely half of an organic, previously roasted coffee bean, right? Like ready to grind coffee bean. And put it in the Dynavap, and I was using a perforated cap, or perforated perforated cap. That's right. And yeah, just go at it until you get some tasty vapor. That's pretty cool. It tasted interesting. I'm not sure. Well, here's the thing. I only did it a few times and then I stopped doing it, so it wasn't as desirable as drinking it, I suppose. Right? Like. Definitely not anywhere near as desirable as drinking it. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, JP. I appreciate the feedback, buddy. You know what? I'm sitting here and I haven't had a Roscoe in like, I don't know, feels like 5 to 7 minutes. I'm not sure what's going on. So let's just rip one right now, and then I'll get focused and we'll think about what's the next thing I'm going to talk about here. But I'm going to have a Roscoe first. So much fun. I love it. What a riot. These live streams are so much fun. I appreciate how easygoing everybody is. All right, let's have it. Cheers, 11, eh? Cheers. Pretty nice with a micro bowl. Oh yeah, we were talking about this and got all sidetracked. I want to show you guys something real quick first. Check this out. This is my friend made this for me. She does resin work. This is my friend that does the bongs with Mrs. TTB. She made this. This is Girl Scout cookies, encapsulated there in resin, and made me a couple of coasters for my desk. I absolutely love these things. Being able to see the green leaf captured in that state right there in front of me. It's a very cool thing. I'll show you guys again. It's a very cool thing. It brings a different energy. Yeah. Plamoka, nice to see you, buddy. Oh, my friend, we just talked about the, we just talked about this whole setup. Oh, perfect. Here's another one that she gave Mrs. TTB. Super cool, eh? I love this kind of stuff. This is my jam, right? Like, how do you not love the energy with something like this when you have the live leaf like that? Yeah, so cool. It's so cool. I loved it. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you. Whoa! Oh no! Oh, good. I just thought I'd show you guys because I figure if there's anybody in the world who is going to appreciate it as much as I do, it's definitely going to be you guys. Nice to see you, buddy. All right. I got to heat that back up. Yeah, so I was super excited about the coasters. Here's the other one that my tea is sitting on right now. Everything's backwards, and when I'm high, I don't know why my brain will not do that math. Like, I'm trying. Yeah, I need a. Yeah. Yeah, so cool, right? So cool. Okay, so let's talk about this. Adding this copper wire, and what I thought with this one, I think a lot of people probably, I think a lot of people have this kind of wire kicking around for whatever reason, right? It's not an uncommon item anyway. I think, or a lot of guys would be like, yeah, I could grab a spool of that and throw it in my shop. I could use that for something, right? And it makes sense to have it. So I started playing around with different devices and wrapping them, based on that one thing straight out of the community. Just, hey, I put this spring item on my Dynavap and it did this. And then, now I'm at this stage where, now you can cross it over into different devices and stuff because it's fully customizable, right? Just by using some copper wire. As long as it's, the pure copper, you're good to go. So why don't why don't I heat this up and we'll have one of these too. Sure, why not, right? Halo tip, of course. Decarb added to coffee. Yeah, that's yeah. All right, so let's just heat this up. Use this torch. Yeah, sometimes I use hash. The question was, do you ever use hash in your vape? If you mean my vape, the locked pearl, tabletop locked pearl, doesn't really work all that well with hash. But I like to drop hash in different vaporizers, that's for sure. Right, and just kind of heat it up and rotate it. So there was the click. I'm going to go a few seconds past it. Not crazy past it, though. And what this does is it just adds, just a little more time to it. Right, and you get right into the vapor real quick with it. You're not doing a lot of heat building, right? You're not like click, reset when you're doing this. So I was pretty impressed with this. I found, I tried gapping, see if we can get that to focus. I tried gapping a little bit to allow a little bit of heat in between the wraps. And then I tried this where it's super tight together. And the super tight together was definitely the way to do it. Just trying to make sure I'm paying attention to the comments there. And you can see, right, not crazy dark and really not much heat, not much reheat with that. So that's exactly right. It retains the heat longer. So I definitely spend a little bit more time on that initial heat up. I may have to reheat it once for, say, 10 seconds. I don't worry about the click at all. I just kind of, you just kind of get the feel for it, I guess. There's the click now. But like when I do a reheat, that's what I mean. I don't worry about the click. If I'm in the middle of having this session, oh, that's going to be hot. Yeah, that's hot. Be careful. If I'm in the middle of the session and I just want to drop a little bit of heat on it, I just heat it up for about 10 seconds. Right? I don't worry about the clicks or anything. But when I'm starting the session, I like that it's reset so I can just kind of heat it to the click. Like we're going to do here. We'll do it again. One more time. Why not? and I just go a few seconds past. The trick is don't use too big of a torch when you're doing this. You don't want to overpower it. You want to slow soak that copper in the cap. And you pull some really nice flavor with this. See, right now I want that to be a tiny bit thicker. So just maybe 7 or 8 seconds, and that'll probably do it for the rest of the bowl. With how much I just heated this, if I put this in the bong right now, it will combust. Heating something like this for the bong, you definitely put less heat to it because you pull more heat, more energy through it. But yeah, I have the airflow wide open. And I could just sip away on it. For sure, I could do without the tech. Okay, so the question is, could you vape with none of the tech from the past 20 years? For sure. I can definitely say the majority of my vaporizing comes from like analog manual vaporizers that you're heating with a torch. Very, old school kinds of things. That's how I prefer to vaporize when it's just me doing my own session, doing my own thing. That's my move. So I definitely could do without all of the modern technology. But that said, I mean, I'm not speaking against the modern technology in the sense that, man, I love vaporizers. I love them so much. I love everything to do with them. I love everything to do with the process. I think, the devices, they do it for me. Like, it's one of my favorite things in the entire world. So I would miss it from that sense so much because, it's such a big part of my life in that way. But as far as my own personal vaping is concerned, I could do without the technology. So it's a double-edged sword, I guess, right? But man, there's so much fun. I love playing vaporizer so much. It gets me out of bed every day with, I'm excited to go. Let's go. We're going to play vaporizers today. I'm going to learn something new about a vaporizer. I'm going to experience something different with the flower. And I'm always on a quest to see what's new. What new thing can I experience? What can come from all of this happening that hasn't come before? Right? And then I just play with it, and sometimes it's a very small reveal, and sometimes you learn something big. But I try to pay attention every day for it. Yeah, it's funny, right? Like, when you get something like the copper wire on here, it changes the way the whole device works, right? So I did that initial heat, and then I put 7 more seconds heat to it, and I went through the entire rest of the bowl, comfortably. Had really nice thick vapor that would satisfy a smoker, right? So, I mean, and for something that you might already have in your shelf, right? Like in your cupboard, in your work shelf, or in your workspace, if you have a workshop or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, the other thing with analog vapes, right? They're typically far more accessible, right, from a cost perspective. right? Something like a Dynavap or a glass vape, right? Tabletop locked pearl, that's under 100 US bucks. There's like the terpsichore and things like that are all probably under 100 or somewhere in that neighborhood, I'm guessing. I haven't looked actually in a while, so don't quote me deeply, or too tightly on the price, but somewhere in that neighborhood anyway. Right, but way more accessible is the point to more people. But you have to work for the experience, right? And that's that bought versus built kind of thing, right? With the analog device, you're heating it, you have to learn the techniques, but once you get it, you've got it. And you almost forget you're doing it, right? Or it becomes something you look forward to if you think about it the right way. What I've learned about things like that, for me personally, if I frame in something I need to do like that, if I'm gonna heat the same vaporizer a number of times, when I only had a couple of vaporizers and I was doing the same thing over and over using the sticky brick, let's say, and hitting it the exact same way with the torch over and over, instead of thinking, oh, this is such a pain in the ass to get nice vapor, I thought about it and I thought this is a really cool experience where it's all on demand and I'm really in control of this and I'm lucky to be having this experience. And I framed it in as this really positive approach to vaporizing, because I thought to myself, I can get any experience I want. It's right here at my fingertips. I just have to learn how to do it. Yeah, so I loved it. Loved it once I really got into it. Yeah, I think a lot of people with vaporizing, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people move through stages with it, right? Like where for a little while you'll be really diehard on this particular thing, and then something else catches your eye, and then you can't shake it, right? And this is where VAS comes in. But sometimes it's almost like a intuitive knowing that that thing is really gonna work for us, right? And not all of them do, because you don't feel that way about everything you see. Right? But you do feel that way about a certain thing, and then it's like, oh damn, now I gotta have that one. And most of the time you're right, which is cool too, right? Oh, all right, no idea. I'm with you. I'm with you. I have not tried ultrasonic jewelry cleaner. Is that good? Does that work good? Like, is that clean enough? Like, is it compatible with vaporizing and heating and all of that, or do you then clean it with alcohol afterwards? I'm not sure how that would work. But I mean, I know how jewelry comes out of that stuff, and if that worked for your Dynavap, and it was like safe to do, or there was a way to clean it afterwards, I definitely would consider that. Hey, one man's. Nice of you to join, my friend. Cheers. This is what you call a psychic moment. Okay, one man's, my friend. If you watch the playback, you're going to see you jumped in right at a time where I'm talking about things out of the things out of the community, straight out of the community ideas, right? And I was mentioning just a moment ago about somebody who sent me some information about putting a spring on a Dynavap, and it inspired this next thing that I did and that I'm just talking about right now. And you probably will find it pretty funny timing. I just thought I would mention that. Squirrel. Squirrel. Okay. Squirrel. Let's get a squirrel fact. Okay. Okay, here's one, guys. This one's awesome. Flying squirrels. Okay, you know what flying squirrels are, right? North American flying squirrels are fluorescent bright pink under ultraviolet light. Scientists have no idea why. Think about that. Flying squirrels are fluorescent bright pink under ultraviolet light. How weird is that? They're just bright pink under ultraviolet light. Such an odd thing. Like, and people know this. I think that's maybe just as odd as the actual fact. So cool, eh? So cool. Rave squirrel. I know, right, Connor? I was struggling there, man. Just working through that. Those words were not working for me. Okay. Um, okay, here's one I think many of us can appreciate. Red squirrels collect mushrooms and then they hang them on branches to dry before storing them for the winter. Think about that whole process. Red squirrels actually take and hang mushrooms on branches to prepare them to store them for the winter. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Crazy, eh? Crazy. Oh, yeah, here was another one. Landing lights, that's funny. Too funny. Um, Researchers believe that squirrels remember not only where they buried food, but also what they buried, which helps them retrieve food in an efficient order. So they can remember not just what they buried, but they are like, oh no, that's not a nut over there. That's a this. And they know exactly in each spot what they actually buried there. And then they can go and they can get a balanced diet. They can get it efficiently. Like, these little creatures, I'm never going to look at a squirrel the same way again. Definitely not. No kidding, eh? Can we get them curing cannabis? You're right on. Too funny. Oh, I love it. So funny. How are we talking about squirrels? All right, let me see what else I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So when I did this wrap on the Dynabap, right, inspired by the spring idea, then I decided to take other pen style vaporizers that I had and give it a go on it. So this is a Hippie Pipe X. And I decided to give it a go on here. And this was a really drastic upgrade for this particular device. If you have one of these, this is definitely a worthwhile add-on. And the nice thing about wrapping it yourself is, you get the size right. What I did to wrap it is I used a socket actually, and I measured a socket to be the same size as the vaporizer that it was going to go around, right? So this measurement here, and then I got a coordinating size of socket, and then I put that in a vise, and then I clamped the wire to it, and I just wrapped it around that socket really tightly, and then just snipped it off and then slipped it on to the vaporizer because it's exactly the right size. So it was pretty easy to do. You're funny, JP. So this becomes a bit of a different device as far as, thermal mass is concerned, how it operates. You can, really heat this thing up, and it holds the heat nicely. If you watch what you're doing when you're using it, it's pretty easy to use. I'll turn this down. I don't want to use too big of a flame. Yeah, they're so smart, man. They blow my mind. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn it while it heats like this, and I'm just going to watch for a little bit of vapor to come out the top of the device when it starts to heat up. And as soon as I see a little bit of vapor, I know that we're just about there. I'm going to take a puff or two and see how close we are. It's hard to see with the lights. Try it. Starting. Just a little bit more heat to it. These are nice pen style vaporizers as well, the Hippie Pipe X. I've really enjoyed mine. I've used them for a long time. Once you get the heat up right where you want it, like that, that's where I want the heat. So then we take an idea that starts with the Dynavap, and then it, spins off a tiny bit, and then it becomes, moves over, and, maybe you have a Hippie pipe and you're not using it as much anymore. Right, that happens with vaporizers. After you've had one for a while, you get something new, and, it hits the shelf, or it hits a cupboard, or you don't use it as much anyway. You bring it out here and there. When you see something like this, if you've already got the wire kicking around and you just put a wrap on it and try it out, you might find that it works back into the rotation for a while too, right? It's sometimes just fun to play. Yeah, it's nice. Hey, Dan Hall. Nice to see you, my friend. I know that squirrels do get a bit annoyed. I love the quartz on quartz. Quartz over quartz. What is it? Yeah, I love that one for sure. Great value. Interesting question, JP. I would say less than 10%. That would be my guess. Oh man, this just reminded me of something I wanted to tell you guys. This is such a Canadian thing. Maybe. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a me thing. This is a squirrel thing, and this is a true story. True story. We used to go winter camping. I mean, it'd be cold. Like, foot of snow at least on the ground, kind of like that kind of winter camping, right? Well below freezing, sleeping bundled up and intense. And the activity we would do is, we would definitely drink a fairly good amount, get fairly liquored up, maybe have, some puffs along the way. And then we would take pellet guns and we would shoot at the the leaf ball the squirrels build as their nest, and we would just shoot the outside of the nest, and not to hurt the squirrel. Actually, that was never the goal. It was never to hurt the squirrel. So we were using pellet guns, right? So the idea was just to pop the squirrel out of the actual nest. And what happens then when you're in the forest and you do this, they start running and they're jumping tree to tree and they run. So the way we would hunt them is you would have to run and you would have to keep track of where the squirrel was, and whoever was at the tree that the squirrel was coming down, when the squirrel finally made the break for the ground, it would come down a tree. If you could get there and wrap your arms around the tree, the squirrel would just freeze. Literally, it's the weirdest thing in the world to watch. The squirrel just freezes on the tree, head down, and it just doesn't move. As long as you stay there with your arms around it, that squirrel just stays frozen. And that's what we would call capturing a squirrel, right? And everybody would have to see that you had your arms around it and the squirrel was frozen, and then that was your point or whatever. But that's what we would do. Oh my God, I forgot about that. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I want to tell you guys about that because it was kind of funny. Right? Because the idea was we never wanted to hurt the squirrel, right? We just wanted to agitate it to make him jump from the tree to tree so we can, right, be tree huggers, right on. Oh my goodness. It was so much fun though. I had such a good idea, or good time. I just saw no idea pop up. So funny. Things are starting to blur together now. That's it. All right, what's the Roscoe count at? Has anybody got a live count on that? Because now I'm starting to not make sense to myself, so I know it's got to be getting up there. Well, Kim, that message there in the chat, like, there has to be context around that, right? Like, that's not your typical chat comment. Too funny, right? Too funny. I bet you Bob Ross had, yeah. Too funny. Love it. Yeah, they're so smart, and they fake each other out. Like, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. I do think I have one more squirrel fact. Oh. Sometimes what a squirrel will do is they'll watch another squirrel. They'll, like, just kind of hang out and watch them bury their food. And then they'll go ahead and they'll unbury it. They'll take it, and instead of eating it, they'll go and they'll hide it somewhere else for themselves. And they just keep going around and stealing from the one squirrel and reburying it in a whole new location. Instead of just remembering where it is, they actually take it and move it and steal it. I was like, come on. These guys are tricky guys. That's something. Okay. Woo. Did we, next would be 12, is that right? Alright, next would be 12. Well, it's time to make it an even dozen then for sure, and then we can move on from there. So let's have another one, I suppose. Why not? It's that time now. Now this is when I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter anymore. I can just go at this like a madman and not worry about it, because whatever happens, happens. We're getting deep into it now. Cheers. Flamokin. I love it. I'm not even done exhaling 12, and we're going for the baker's dozen. Ooh. Okay. Oh, I gotta heat the bowl back up for a second. Need to sip a little water too. Those big one and done rips can really dry out the back of the throat, eh? Ooh. Yeah, all right. We'll go for the baker's dozen. Why not? It's probably time for that. Okay, what else did I want to talk about that? Oh yeah, okay. I had some true false questions I was gonna throw at you guys. This is always good for towards the end of the live stream, right? Nobody can think anymore. All right. Okay, here's one. True or false? Convection vaporizers never heat flour through conduction. True or false? Convection vaporizers never heat flour through conduction. True or false? This one I want to see what you guys have to say about this one. Oh man. Sorry guys, my Twitch chat froze up back there. Okay, beautiful. All right, I'm seeing everybody again now. Sorry about that. Slow down there. Okay. All right. False, false. False, false. True, false. Oh my goodness, JP. We're doing the deep dive, are we? Okay, Plamokin, the question was, convection vaporizers never heat the flour through conduction. True or false? Oh, is Cotter jumping out? All right, Cotter. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for your effort to be here. Really, truly appreciate you and the energy you bring. And the energy drinks. Peace, buddy. Oh my goodness. Too funny. That's some dedication, eh? Yep. Yep. No idea too, right? You guys are there's a few of you. Unbelievably dedicated. I love it. All right, let's rip another one. Let's go for it. It's time. It's time. Okay, so the answer to the true-false question there, the answer, and most people got it correct, the answer was false. A convection vaporizer will provide primarily convection vapor, but there is definitely going to be an element of conduction, right? It's just a science of it. You know, everything else has to be hot enough for it to vaporize, so there's going to be conduction. Cheers. Oh, I'm getting the coughs now. That's what happens when you have this many bowls, isn't it? I'm sure I'm not the only one. How much wheat is 13 bowls? That much? Yeah. Too funny. I'm not a handful. I'm the most mellow person ever. Sure. No, I'm a handful. Ain't zero question about it. Zero question. Yeah, life with me would require a great deal of patience, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else I think. Um, okay, yes. Draw technique can influence the temperature reaching the flower. Okay, so when this goes together, how hard I draw on this will influence how much heat hits the flower from this ball vape. If I draw harder or softer, it changes the temperature, true or false. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to make it make sense. Words almost don't make sense now. I don't even remember the question now. Now I have to go back and look at the question. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. The draw technique can influence the temperature reaching the flower. That was it. It's always a trap. Okay, so we have a count on Twitch of 17 is where we're at. Is that right? That okay? Well, that's a lot. Oh, there's Max on YouTube too. So what are the two counts that we have? This is interesting. How much fun is this? Ask stoners to keep track of something long term while having balls. Let's see what happens. Fast forward. Here we are. JP has the answer. Always the answer. Roscoe. Love it. So, okay. Kim says 14. And we have 17 on Twitch. So, why don't we do this? Why don't we have one right now? And we'll call it this one 16. Right? Because if we kind of split the difference on the lower side, that'd be 15. And then we'll add this one, we'll make it 16. All right. And we'll be pretty close. We'll be within a bowl or whatever anyway. So, we, one Roscoe away either way, but let's just go ahead and have one because I think JP mentioned it again anyway somewhere. We'll blame JP every time for this. Sure. All right. Okay, that's a good one. All right. Cheers. What a riot. Go on. I gotta tell you guys something. I'm so happy that I found the other people in the world that like this the way I like this. Oh man, I feel so grateful for that we can hang out and sesh like this, because we're a special kind of person, it seems. I think maybe our friends are probably like, oh, thank goodness for that live stream. It gives them an outlet. They don't have to tell me as much about it. Out of green tea. Water. All right, let's do another question or two. We'll maybe have another quick Roscoe or two before wrapping it up, but I'm almost done. I can almost not see anymore. I'm not sure if I even have eyes left now. Okay, there was a question I just saw that I wanted to drop out there, though. Where'd it go? I had a nice question I wanted to hit you guys with. Oh, yeah. Reducing airflow can sometimes increase extraction. Okay, you got that? Reducing airflow can sometimes increase extraction. True or false? I love it. I love it. PJ's photo? That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah. You know what? I think, as you might be able to tell, I'm a little bit extreme when it comes to the whole vaping world, right? So this is definitely a really good outlet for me, and I need to do it all day, every day as a business, and the videos and the channel and everything, just to get enough of it. So it's such a great thing to have so many people that we can share and hang out with and have a laugh with and enjoy it this much too. It's so much fun. Yeah. Okay, I think everybody has that principle kind of locked, that it's true. Definitely changing airflow can definitely change how the extraction works, and that's I think an important thing. When we're sitting in a session, if we want to get a little more or a little less out of it. Let me see here. Okay, so see if I can find everything I need at my fingertips here to prove this point. Make sense of it. Come on. Is there something I need there? Will this work? Kind of trying something makeshift, see if I can get away with it here. It's probably not going to work. No, not going to work. Okay. Anyway, the point was going to be that, I can take the plug out and, drop my bowl in there. And instead of having the plug, I can use my finger and I can allow just a tiny bit of air in while I'm drawing if I want to cool the vapor down a little bit, right? Or, if I want to change how it tastes, you can just use your finger and just feather it, right? We can just do all these little tiny things along the way. If we look at the air path and we think about how we can change the airflow, whether it's drawing harder, softer, things like that, pull the plug and, just kind of flutter that air hole. There's a million ways along the way that you might see if you start looking for it that can change the experience, and it changes the extraction, right? Sometimes you want a heavier or a lighter extraction, and the heat that's being provided doesn't allow you to get right there. So adding a little air or, drawing harder sometimes will get you a bigger rip and a heavier extraction. So yeah, play around with those things for sure. I wanted to just talk that one out for a second. You know what, we should rip another Roscoe here, and then I'll find one more question before we hit the final Roscoe of the night, I think. Let's have one more here before we get that far. Why not? There's a point where it almost doesn't even matter anymore, right? And I'm pretty much at that point, I think. It's like as long as I'm still sitting upright, I don't think there's any more damage to do. All right, friends. Cheers. That is a triple, Jason. Yes. Okay, here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to heat up the larger bowl. Oh, man. That thing I was looking for, I had it right here the whole time. This was what I was looking for. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. So then I could show you how the bowl goes in there, right? And you draw on it. And all right. I just had to close the loop clearly. Oh, too funny. Is everybody trying to make JP leave? Too funny. What a great thing to say, Catfish Stalker. You're retired, so every day is awesome. You know, that's such a great thing to hear somebody say. Just that every day is awesome. Under whatever capacity. Those are great words. So good. Thanks for dropping that in there. I love hearing anybody say stuff like that. Okay, do I have one more? Do I have one more that I think will be a little more challenging? All right, try this one. There is one ideal draw speed for every convection vaporizer. True or false? There's one ideal draw speed for every convection vaporizer. True or false? All right, we got a negative right away, Jason. See ya, bushwhacker. All right, Plamokin. Take her easy, buddy. Yeah, we're moments away from wrapping it up here too. I think everybody's starting to feel like it's time to wrap it. Uh-huh. I'm just looking at your comment there, Jason, about the dabs on your Switch too. Now that's hilarious. Found the sweet spot. Found the sweet spot. Love it. Yeah, nice. Nice, Max. Love it. Yeah, definitely. I'm set for a while after this too. You know, on Thursday nights after the live stream, and this is a rare thing. By the time I go to bed, and I don't go to bed right away, that's for sure, right? Like, I still have lots of energy after the live stream and stuff. But when I'm tired, then I'm done. And I don't actually on Thursday nights very often have a session after the live stream. Typically the last bowl I do, which is going to be here in a second, is going to be my last bowl for the day. And that never really, under almost any circumstances, is the case. I love the right before bed session. I love that session, right? Because I kind of can just take a few minutes and really slow down, and I put whatever things I want in my mind before I'm going to go to bed. And I love that session. It's reserved for something important for me, right? But Thursday nights, I'm like, no, I'm just going to bed. I just get up and go directly to bed and just fall, and I'm asleep when I hit the pillow. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right, I decided to go to the full-size bowl this time for the final rip, and we'll heat that right up, and I can get a fairly good amount of flour in here, so I can just get a bigger smack off of this for the final one. All right, guys, thanks a million for hanging out tonight. This was fun. Lots of good chat. Yeah, this was definitely a fun night tonight. I had all kinds of laughs. And I really appreciate everybody taking their time and their effort to be here and to come and share and to be part of this. I mean, it's so cool the way everybody brings the energy that they bring in the mashup that it makes. It's pretty wild. I love it. So thanks everybody for being here. And let's have this final rip together. And is that where we're at? All right. Cheers. Yep, that's it. I'm done right there. That's for sure. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you're available. If not, we'll catch you next Thursday. All right.